Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Speedify Live Office Hours. I'm Alex from Speedify, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have. I see some of you guys are already posting questions, which is fantastic because we are live. And so, you post questions underneath, and I will respond. So, greetings to all of you, Mika. So, good morning, everybody. I see everybody saying hi. I'm not going to say hi to everybody. All right. Larry's asking a question here. Good morning. Will it look like you are using tethered data while sharing your cellular connection when using pair and share? Yes. When you share data, so pair and share, it's a new feature. Take a step back before I answer his question. That lets you wirelessly share like your cellular connections from your phones, Android or iPhone, with other devices running Speedify on the same network, which means, it supercharges your hotspot. Normally, right, you start a hotspot on a phone, a bunch of computers and phones join it. They can all use that phone's Wi-Fi. That's how life worked before Speedify. We'd rather use use that device cellular. But now with pair and share, everything goes back and forth. If you have a bunch of phones with cellular that join that hotspot, then that guy making the hotspot even can use the cellular of the devices that joined. So super cool. Yes, the data you share when you share your cellular, does count as tethering data. This is important because we want to make sure that we don't get banned and attacked as being some kind of, trick hacking device to let people do things they're not allowed to do. Uh-oh, allergies. All right, Shishong says updated GL iNet router and it has the parent share now. I set it to auto accept request, but would like to understand how this could benefit me and others. We need to share connection, correct? Right. So here's the concept, and we're yes. So the router you can set to accept requests, and then cell phones that join the hotspot can see the hotspot and click to share their cellular data back up to the router. So now the router that's running Speedify, if it needs extra bandwidth because whatever internet it's plugged into isn't fast enough, it can take some of the data and ask the cell phones that are connected, would you please get this to the internet instead? Um, it can provide a speed boost. It can provide a big reliability boost. You cut the cable providing internet to the hotspot, and it'll route all the traffic out to these other devices until you get things fixed, and you'll still be on the internet. So I think that should be pretty cool. Um, all right. Apologies if I've missed the intent of the parent share service. Could you give at least one use case? Yeah, I've got a couple for you. Um, a year ago, I got like 8 calls. Every single week, I got a call. It seemed the strangest thing from different people who were trying to stream sporting events from locations like fields, right? They go out in the field outside their high school and they try to stream the event. And everybody's got iPhones in their pocket or Android phones, but mostly iPhones. And they have cellular connections, but any one connection is not fast enough to stream the or reliable enough to stream the game. So the home viewers end out with this frustrated experience. And so there was this question that coaches and parents kept asking me, isn't there some way to use the cellular of the other parents at the event? Like if we could give a little data to each one of the parents who said, sure, use a gig of my data, we'd have plenty of data and we'd be able to live stream from all sorts of places. So that was one. Two, we do our live streams. What we've been doing, and it's worked pretty well, is we use an iPhone running Lyrics Broadcaster and Speedify, and it joins the hotspot of another phone on another carrier. And then we run Speedify to bond the built-in LTE or 5G with the LTE or 5G of the other phone. And now we get 2 cellular connections. And that just upped our reliability, right? From, losing connection for 2 minutes out of each hour to most streams not losing connection at all while walking around the city. But we realized you could do better, right? In the US, there's 3 real carriers, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. There are other carriers, but in fact, all the other carriers are really just selling you access to one of those 3 networks. So given that, if you can get on all 3 networks, that's the ultimate in reliability. Actually, UFD Tech went one more level, which is all 3 networks plus a Starlink dish on their roof. And super cool. I love those guys. All right. With all these public Wi-Fi hotspots, you would think connectivity wouldn't be an issue. I guess Quiet Galaxy has not actually used a public hotspot recently. Incredibly variable. And if you're moving, of course, out of the hotspot at that edge of range of what? Every hotspot's a terrible hotspot. No matter how good a job they did when you walk out, those last couple feet before you lose signal is so terrible you get disconnected. But lots of hotspots are just not that great. All right. I live from behind the backstop. All right. I tried pairing two cell phones with a Wi-Fi only iPad and could only get one cellular device to connect with the iPad. Whew. All right. It is officially allergy season, I guess. Um, all right. Mm. So you're using pair and share, and they're all on the same hotspot, right? Um, so you have two cell phones and an iPad, and they're all on the same hotspot. What's making the hotspot? Is it one of the phone's hotspots? You on a Wi-Fi network? Um, I would think that using pair and share, the iPad should see both. Um, Actually, pull up the Speedify screen on all the devices when you're trying to find them and pair them. Um, the first time it makes them a little bit more aggressive when you first pull up the screen to say, "I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Does anyone want to connect with me?" You know, playing little games to minimize battery usage. So, um, pulling up the Speedify screen does speed up discovery, which might be an important hint for some of you. All right. One of the cellular phones is a hotspot. Um, hmm, which one does it see? Does it only see the one that's the hotspot, or or does it only see the other one? Roy says, "Hi, Alex and Marb. Pair and share worked real well for me during Fleet Week. Nice." Marb asks, "What's Fleet Week?" I assume it's this awesome thing involving ships and boats. And I'm excited to hear more about Roy. That's good. It's good that it helped you. Um, yeah, so live from behind the backstop, maybe send logs. I'd like to see more. It only sees the one from the hotspot. Hmm. Does the hotspot? Hmm. Yeah, if you could send logs. Um, yeah, it's funny. There's a lot of logs now. Now you have three devices involved. But from the menu, uh, you can do generate logs, and it'll make a zip file and send it to us with some info and tell us about what you're trying to do. Um, it sure sounds like it should work. That's what I do. I make a hotspot. I have, you know, last week I had 5 devices on, my 2 phones and Ryan's phone and Anna's phone, and uh, yeah, we were all merrily sharing back and forth at the conference, getting great internet. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I am going to be at the ECam Creators Camp, uh, up in Amesbury, Massachusetts, outside Boston. Um, I think it's filled. I think some of you are going. It should be fun. If you're going, I'll see you there. Um, yeah, should be super cool. All right. Shishang Victor's going to be there. Yeah, I'm back to traveling. I haven't traveled for a long time, but I'm starting to go to conferences and meet people again. It's strange. Got to get used to it again. Um, so yeah. So my daughter went to her first. She's 22. She went to a conference for her job, and she decided to leave the conference and go to lunch last week. So she goes to the conference and she sees this guy shoves a man in a wheelchair down a flight of stairs, and so she runs over to help. And the guy's asking her to help get him back in the wheelchair. She struggles to get the guy back in the wheelchair, and then he yells, "You've been pranked!" And people jump out of the bushes with cameras and stuff. So that was going to be an annoying prank video. At some point featuring my daughter. Although it sounds like she didn't embarrass herself, so maybe she'll get edited out. So yeah, that's so weird. Yeah, sign of the time. So I'm meanwhile hanging out at Vid Summit with all these people who are literally making a living off their YouTube videos. You know, apparently, my daughter was accidentally doing some of the same. All right. So let's see. So our schedule for this week, um, I won't be around Wednesday, but Brian Pradell, our Chief Technical Officer, so if you want real answers, you get real answers. We'll be here on Wednesday. I don't know if he's planning to bring Kevin or Mike. I think they're all actually planning to come here to the office when I'm not here, meet in person. Why when I'm not here? Probably to be productive. um, yeah, so I think most of you guys understand. At least you didn't just walk by and not help. That's right. That's when you get like the video on the front page of YouTube. Look at this monster, right? I think somebody rushing to help. It's just not going to be that exciting, right? All right. Fleet Week is a big event every year with the Blue Angels Air Show, military ships, and other stuff. Brings a million visitors to San Francisco. Nice. Uh, I've twice now covered the Atlantic City Air Show, which I suspect is somewhat similar. And a funny thing, I've been using the Rode Go mics too, and they're so good at cutting out background noise that the videos are funny to watch because I'll be standing there talking into my mic, and an airplane flies overhead. And when we filmed it, the roar of the airplane was so loud I literally couldn't hear myself. So I was shouting to try to be heard. But the Rode mics are so good at cutting out background noise that all you see in the videos, I suddenly start shouting for no reason whatsoever. It's the sort of thing that until you actually cover an air show, you don't really know how your equipment's going to behave. I don't know any way to make a noise loud enough to test that. Um, so anyway, Fleet Week issue. Yeah, yeah, that's right. But fun toys. Say what you want. The Blue Angels always worth watching. Uh, it's yeah, a funny same experience for me. Yeah, yeah. Some of these microphones they're really good, and they. It's funny that they're in some cases they capture things better than the human ear does. Right. I get completely overwhelmed by the sound of a jet engine, even though it's thousands of feet away. But Mike gets it right. Yeah, banging pots and pans behind you. Yeah, you just it's a lot to be said for experience doing a couple shows with same equipment, kind of same setup, and you can really start seeming a lot more professional. Right? Take time to do some lights behind you if you're doing enough stuff from the same spot. Those who remember when this show started as just me in my office, a bunch of crap on the wall behind me. Uh, I think we've gotten a lot nicer. And some of that is Doc Rock from Ecamm coming on, giving me advice about have purple and blue lights changing behind you. Like, oh yeah, you're right, dude. That it's not that hard to do, and it would make things seem more grown up. So that's what we're doing. So off to Ecamm. Doc Rock will be there, and hopefully he'll give me more advice on how to improve the show because he's really good at that. Lights feel calming. Yeah. Yeah. Somewhere there's a remote here I can like supposedly do things like make them red. Can work. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. All right. I got rope LEDs because the ones you have. Oh, Roy says, on the ground, I had no signal at all last year. This year it was really good, pairing the three major networks. Yeah, it's a lot to be, there's usually one that works. Any given situation, frequently one doesn't. They're all pretty good, but frequently one doesn't work. Frequently one works great. And being able to have Speedify juggle between the three makes it a huge, huge difference. Have you folks thought about contacting crypto YouTube influencers about Speedify? I could see that you're being a good place to expand as well as miners as a backup in their market, etc. A little bit. Um, you know, Honestly, I think it's a little late to go after the crypto people. um, so a lot of talk. Actually, someone was pitching me this weekend how we ought to be all about the medical records. And I don't think that's right. But I think more stuff about video and stuff. I think these large events should have little network towers. It was insanely bad at Vid Summit. Um, I mean, I guess I was using Parent Chair, so I didn't notice. Worked for me. I had their Wi-Fi and a couple cell phones, and I was pretty much online all the time. But yeah, as he's saying, as Roy says, some of them do. Yeah, I was reading about a guy in Texas who, it was an interesting article. Small business, but good little business. He's got this trailer with a small cell phone tower, and he drives to major news events anywhere in Texas and sets it up so reporters and stuff get better internet. I mean, charges a whole bunch of money for it, but yeah, I don't know. He has satellite dishes and stuff to connect it to the internet on the other side, and he sets up Wi-Fi and stuff for them. There's always something going wrong in Texas, and he rushes over there and gives better internet to whoever needs it for a price. Um, Larry says, I think it was discussed on previous office hours that Speedify may be worked into the GL iNet routers. What is the timeline for that, if correct? Our timeline, our roadmap here remains by the end of the year. We want a version of Speedify that works on the GL iNet routers. There are, as you saw from the comments earlier, people who have taken our essentially Raspberry Pi release and gotten it to work on the GL iNet routers. Um, it is possible. Uh, we don't really encourage it. I mean, if it works for you, fantastic. We're happy for you. But we intend to spend several weeks of work for several people in order to really get it to the shape that we feel good telling you to go ahead and do it, and we'll support you if you have a problem. It's not quite there yet. There's no web pages, but all right. I went to a government building and there was no Wi-Fi, and I was disappointed my tax dollars couldn't even get a crappy modem. Can help you with that. All right. Vinny says, good morning. Just started using Speedify a few weeks ago. Amazing results. Thank you. Smooth WAN is the option I'm aware of, but unstable for me. Yeah. It's WAN is an amazing little piece of software, but it's kind of jury rigged getting Speedify to work with OpenWRT by using a Raspberry Pi. Brilliant work by TM getting that working, but to be honest, we're just supposed to support working on the router, and our plan is to get there by the end of this year, 2023. If you are trying to do it, make sure you're using the latest release. Speedify 14 had fixes. There was some things that were really broken for those people who were running the Raspberry Pi version on their GL iNets. So we fixed some of those things. So it's not really, well, continue to say it's not really supported. It is possible to make it work with the very latest version. But again, if you're looking for something that just works, you should wait till, January. All right. Well, we're coming up on the end here. I think that is it for today. Hopefully I helped. We will be back on Wednesday. Brian Purdell and probably one of the other engineers live here in the studio. I'll be off in Massachusetts, but you'll have the people who wrote the software instead of just me, the talking head. So hopefully that'll be a really exciting episode. Oh wait, what's Vinny saying here? I do rodeos in rural areas, and the pairing my phone hotspot is a game changer for me. Sometimes I have internet, but indoor arenas have metal roofs and hundreds of users on phones. Yeah. Yeah, we've been playing with ideas, like, can you get the phone outside somewhere and beam it in. We when we took a tour of that horse farm, I don't know if you all remember it. There was an episode where we went IRL to a horse farm, and it was fantastic. But what we discovered is they had what they called a Dutch barn, an Amish barn, one or the other. The bottom floor of the barn was half stone walls, half a hill. You know, the the stone barn was built into the side of a hill, which meant, you know, nothing worked in the barn. But by having me stand outside the barn holding the cell phone running the hotspot, the person with the camera was able to go into the barn. We kept barn doors open and tour the barn because I was getting cellular and then I was beaming Wi-Fi straight through the door to the phone, which had gone in, and it had lost its cellular because there was no reception in there. But, you know, we were able to help the radio waves make a right angle turn by having someone stand out there. Shishang, I look forward to seeing you at camp. So, all right. Great idea. Yeah. Crypto, I'm not an expert. Yeah, people are welcome to use Speedify with crypto. I just don't know that we're going to sponsor any YouTubers at this point. Pixel Baby says, in 14.1 on Linux, after installation, it doesn't create the sharing config file by default. I thought we fixed that. There was an issue, and support had easy instruction. There was just one command you had to run to enable it. You know, some sudo service start thing. Are you on the very latest, or are you like, did you see this a week ago and you're telling us about it? Or are you on the latest? I think it's 14.1.2, perhaps. Anyway, so my suggestion would be update. If you still see the problem, write us at support@speedify.com. They have a one-line command that I don't have memorized to enable it. If you've hit that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Our fault, but easy to fix. Just the installer didn't flip the default switch. All right. Thank you, everybody. Shishang, I'll see you in Massachusetts. Rest of you, Wednesday, same time, you can see Brian Pradell, our Chief Technical Officer. He will be on to answer all of your questions. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you all online.